Hey guys, if you don't already know, my name is Kirsten and this is my Disney College Program vlog. For my second vlog, I decided to do a roommate survival guide. Um, so as I know, and you all know, a lot of people are getting ready to leave in a few months for Florida or California, and they're getting ready to move in with a bunch of new people that they've really only talked to online in most cases, and yeah. Um, so I just have a few tips and tricks and everything to help make your roommate experience as best as possible. Um, so the first thing I can suggest is share your info. Right now in the Facebook groups, I suggest sharing phone numbers. Be sure to ask who has unlimited texting and unlimited calls and everything. A lot of kids, if they're paying for their own, I guess we're not really kids. A lot of college students, if they're paying for their own like cell phone or anything, some of them don't have unlimited texting or unlimited minutes, so be sure to ask before you just start blowing up someone's phone. It's not really respectful. Um, Another thing is don't hesitate to exchange emails. I know it's not like a common form of communication anymore, but it is helpful if you really need to get a hold of someone and you don't have any other way. Um, Also, so you're gonna get there and something is gonna happen. Bad things happen. They're not gonna be like catastrophic, but I mean, you might get sick, you might need something, etc., etc. So, if when you get there, you share your family info, like your emergency contacts and stuff, like my mom would be my emergency contact. If I give like her name and her phone number to my roommates, then that's handled. Like if something happens to me, they can call her and tell her what's really going on, and she doesn't have to freak out and worry. It's a really good idea, and I really do suggest sharing that info, because if you don't, your parents could end up like blowing everything way out of the water and they might show up in Florida or California. Just, I mean, be prepared for that. As far as roommate matching goes, when I did the program in 2012, roommate matching was just you could match with your one roommate, so the person that you physically shared a room with. That has since changed. They now use dorms, which is a matching service where you can match all of your roommates together. So like if you want to live with in a 3-bedroom with 6 girls, you can all 6 match together. That's a new thing to me. I'm not really sure how that works. It also means that you don't have to line up together. I lined up with my roommates at 3 a.m. and we still weren't the first people in line, so I'm kind of excited for that. So when you're on the program, schedules between roommates are going to be difficult. You're not going to have the same exact schedule as your roommate all the time, or like any of your roommates really. So it's really important to text them. I know it sounds stupid, and like Facebook messages, and like it sounds dumb. Like I'm not going to text or message someone that I'm going to see later on, but it really makes things a lot easier and it helps keep that line of communication open. So don't be afraid to text your roommate and say, just like ask how they're doing or something. Just like keep that line of communication open. And you don't want to keep that close, because once that line of communication closes, you guys are going to have like fights. You're going to start fighting and things are going to get really awkward, and it's not going to be a good time for anyone. So be sure to like text them, Facebook message them, anything. Just keep in contact with each other. Don't just like go a week without talking to your roommate. That's kind of weird. You're like just not talking to the person you live with. That's odd. When you get to Florida, the first thing I suggest telling your roommates is any allergies you have, especially food allergies and peanut allergies. Especially if you have like a peanut allergy, because I know those can get pretty severe. You don't want to come home and like no one know that you're allergic to peanuts and like peanut party or like peanut butter and jelly party, and like you can't breathe. You don't want to like. And another thing, if like a roommate is cooking, be sure to tell them if you're like a vegetarian or a vegan or something, because if they're cooking for everybody and you don't tell them, you could eat something that you're not used to, or like something that's gonna make you sick. Because I know my roommate was a vegetarian and she couldn't eat meat. Like she'd physically gone so long without it that it would make her sick. So make sure that you like don't do that. Just make sure you share, like, your allergies, your medical conditions, anything that could physically or mentally hurt or harm you. If there's something there's something, like, you don't like to hear joked about, like, I don't like to hear depression or suicide or anything like that joked about because it's a very serious matter, and some people joke about it. It's just a fact. Be sure to tell your roommates that, because you don't want to be uncomfortable, and you don't want to feel uncomfortable in that situation. It's not fair to anybody, and it's especially not fair for you, because you're going to get mad at them, and they're not going to know why you're mad, because you didn't tell them anything. Alright, when you meet or, like, decide who you're actually rooming with, which could happen before you get to Florida, could happen when you get to Florida, I don't know, your personal situation. Once you get to the apartment, decide a bathroom schedule. This isn't going to be easy to decide until after you guys figure out your work schedules. I don't really know if I'm going to do this because I didn't do it my first program and we never had issues with it. Just, like, make sure that, like, yeah, like, a 30-minute shower is great and all, but, like, not when your roommate is 30 minutes late for work. Like, make sure that you're being considerate. If your roommate has to be at work in an hour and you have to be at work in 5 hours, don't take the first shower. It's not right. It's not nice either. When you get there, I suggest having a suite mates or, like, housemates roommate meeting, housemates roommate meeting. That didn't make sense. Have a house meeting. You know what I'm saying? Have a house meeting. There we go. Discuss the responsibilities, like who's going to take out the trash when, like a chore chart, schedule. Discuss that, because you don't want to be the one person that comes home at 10 o'clock at night and there's trash that's piled up and someone's just going to get mad and yell, and it's not going to be a good situation, because no one's going to be like, oh, let me solve everything and take it out for you. No one's going to do that. Everyone's going to have an argument as to why they shouldn't have to do it. So just make the schedule, make the chart. It'll work out in the long run. Along the same lines as that, don't play the victim. Do not come home and, like, it's like your turn to take out the trash. Don't be like, well, I worked a 10-hour day. I shouldn't have to take out the trash, blah, blah, blah. Just take it out. It takes 5 minutes. Don't play the, oh, woe was me card. Take out the trash. Do the dishes. Takes 5 minutes. It really will take you longer to complain about it and play the victim role than it will take you to actually do the chore. So just take my advice and do the chore. Also, I've seen this happen. Do not let your roommates bully you into cleaning or bully you into the chore. Like, if it's their turn to take out the trash, make them do it. Do not say, like, because I actually had someone tell my friend, oh, you're custodial, you're used to it, you take out the trash. It's not right. Don't do that to your roommates. You wouldn't want that done to you. Don't be bullied into cleaning just because you're a custodial or housekeeping role. Just don't be bullied into cooking if you're in foods. I mean, just don't do it to your roommates. They wouldn't do it to you. It's just something that needs to be avoided. And then just this next one's something that is pretty obvious, but alcohol. If you are under 21 or you live in a wellness apartment, make sure that everyone knows not to bring alcohol into the apartment. I know it's like a given thing, but I have seen people do it and, like, not even care. Like, I've seen people do it and just, like, be like, oh, I didn't know any better. So make sure it's a known thing that you cannot do that, where you're gonna have someone get termed because someone's being stupid. When it comes to going out and staying in, people are different. Some people want to go to the parks every day. Some people want to go on the party bus every night. Don't judge them. Everyone has different personalities. If you don't want to go on the party bus every single night with your roommate, you don't have to. But don't judge them for doing it. They wouldn't judge you for going to the parks every day like a Disney crazy, which we all are. Which is fine. Totally fine. You can drink. You cannot drink. You can party. You cannot party. You can go out. You cannot go out. The ultimate thing is, don't hold it over your roommate's head. Like, if they went out, Like, if they wanted to go to the party bus one night and they came home late and they weren't, like, if they're disrespectful to you, that's one thing, but if they're just, like, going out, you are not their mother. Do not stay up until 5 a.m. waiting for them. Go to bed. Do not say, well, you went out last night. Are you really going out again? Don't do that. You're not that person. You shouldn't be that person. I understand you care about your roommates and you, like, want the best for them, and maybe that's not the best for them, but that's their decision. Everyone has different personalities, like I said. Just don't judge them for it. Like, if the don't judge thing is, like, a big deal. It's a big thing. Like, if your roommate likes to stay in and read every night, and you want to go to the parks, that's fine. You are not a freak for wanting to be by yourself and read or do something like that. They are not a slut for going on the party bus every night. That's just, no. No one's a slut, no one's a freak. You guys are different. It's gonna happen. Accept it, move on. Ultimately, I guess you don't have to be friends with your roommates. You don't have to be best friends with your roommates. I do suggest getting along with them at least. Get to know them. Give them a chance. They may be different from you, but you guys still may get along really well. Ultimately, just, like, don't hold anything over anyone's heads. Don't assume that they should have to do all the chores because they're in custodial. Just don't. The next thing I kind of wanted to talk about was roles. Your roommate and you and your roommate, wow. You and your roommate are probably going to have different roles, and that's a good thing. It would drive you completely insane if you came home and your roommate was complaining about the same exact things you were complaining about. Plus, if you and your roommate are in different roles, you get, like, twice a opportunity to hear all the crazy stories, because someone in quick service is not going to hear the same stories as someone in main entrance ops. Someone in attractions is not going to hear the same stories as someone in custodial. It's different, and that's a good thing, and accept that, and move on. About that, you guys are probably going to work different hours, too. The most important thing is to remember, be respectful. There goes my phone. Be respectful. If your roommate works at 6 a.m., do not keep the lights on or the TV on or whatever in your room until 2 in the morning. Like, just don't. It's disrespectful and it's rude. Respect each other's schedules. That's the most important thing. That you're understanding that they are in a different position than you, and you're understanding that they're going to have different schedules than you. So, let's talk about the internationals for a second. Your roommate may be an ICP, which is an international college program, and that is okay. They may be very, very different from you, but you have to accept that and just, like, move on from it. Do not, like, if you get, like, a Chinese roommate, do not be like, oh, can't believe it, she's not even going to speak my language. Give them the benefit of the doubt. A lot of them do know enough English to at least get by, and a lot of them are really willing to learn more. So don't just write them off as if they don't matter. As far as roles go, if your roommate is a character performer, if you live with someone who is friends with a character, do not expose them. Do not go to the parks and be like, oh, hey, blah, blah, John, my roommate. You will get termed. You will get termed on the spot. Your roommate could possibly get termed. Do not expose your roommates. It's rude. It's not cool. Do not do it. It's not nice. If your roommate works in attractions, yes, they can probably get you to the front of the line. I know this because my roommate, my last program, got us to the front of the line on Cali River Rapids. But that doesn't mean you should expect it every time you go. Don't walk up and be like, my roommate works here, I'm gonna go up to the front. Don't. If they are busy, leave them alone. Wait in the 30-minute line, it won't kill you. If the line is really that long, you are going to be there for 7-8 months, move on. Or 4 or 5, whatever. Move on. You will have another chance at that ride. Do not bother your roommate and drive them insane, and do not make them look bad. Because their managers can hold that against them in the long run, and it could be your fault if they don't get their extension or they get in trouble. Just don't. It's not cool. I've heard a couple stories about someone doing things like that, and ultimately it just turns out bad for everybody, so just don't do it. Also, something I just thought about, if your friend is a character performer, do not go to the front of the line. It happened a lot on my program with Peter Pan. Someone was friends with Peter, and this girl knew him, and she would go to the front of his line every time, even if there were people waiting. They don't care that you know that person. Do not do it. You look rude, you look inconsiderate, and quite frankly, you are being rude and inconsiderate. Just stop. Quick service food and beverage and merchandise. Full service food and beverage and merchandise. If your roommate works in any of the three, do not ask them to bring you home free things. Do not ask for freebies. Do not expect freebies. Do not go to their work location and ask if you can have something for free. Do not. It's rude, it's disrespectful, and if they do it, they can get fired. I know a girl who worked merchandise during my program, and she would bring stuff home for her roommates, and she and all of her roommates ended up getting termed for it. Not cool. Don't ask, don't take anything, just don't do it. It's not worth it. Like, you get a cast discount that's pretty good. It's like 20 to 40% depending on what season we're in. So, like, the little plush Mickey Mouse, the little pin that you want, is not worth getting termed over. So please don't do it. If your roommate works in custodial or main entrance operations where they work pack shifts, anything like that where they're just kind of out there, do not stand and talk to them all day. You look stupid. I've seen people do it, and you don't look smart. You're just standing there talking to someone, and ultimately it can get them in trouble. So do not just stand there. Let custodial do their job. Say hey. You can say hey. I don't care. Do not stand there and talk to them for an hour. It's rude. So moving on. If all of these tips do not work, and you and your roommates have disagreements, you should probably try not to. If you're fighting, try having, like, a house meeting held within your own, and just have, like, say everyone, hey, be here at, like, 6, or, like, find a time where everyone can be there, obviously, and just talk about it, talk it out. Ultimately, I do suggest talking things out before just assuming that no one's gonna care. Disney Housing does have some mediators that can come in and sit down and talk to you and your roommates. It's not a good process. Everyone has to fill out a witness statement, and a lot of people, like, I mean, they do the best to make everyone happy, but someone's still gonna leave mad, and it's still gonna cause tension. If you do have to go to the mediators, an option that they will give you is moving. It's kind of a last case scenario in their book. Sometimes, depending on the situation, it can happen immediately if they consider it an emergency situation, or it can happen in a few weeks, and you'll be stuck living with these people. So just try and get along. You can be stuck living with the people that you hate for 3 weeks. Maybe longer. I saw people waitlisted for over a month. So just try and get along with your roommates ultimately. Look for solutions to your situations. And then also look at it from their shoes, their point of view. Don't just assume, well, I didn't think I was wrong, so I'm not. Think about it, assess the situation. If you're listening to loud music and your roommate's trying to sleep, a solution to that, put on your headphones. If you didn't do the dishes on your night and they did it for you, do the dishes on their night. Things like that. Just, like, find compromises for everything, because if you don't, you're ultimately going to have disagreements that are going to lead to the end option, which is moving, and you don't want to do that. Remember this is a big thing to remember. Remember that your roommates have to live with you as well. You're not just living with them, they're living with you. So, like I said before, taking the 30-minute shower when your roommate's late for work is not a good situation. Do things like keep your bed made, make sure you rinse your dishes off, don't leave food out. Just like make sure that you're being the best roommate to them so that they can be the best roommate to you in return. Another thing, cars. If your roommate has a car, do not expect them to take you everywhere, especially if you're not willing to like chip in for gas. Like, if you expect them to take you to the grocery store every week when you get paid, you should probably be giving them like $20 for gas a month or something. I don't know. It depends on the prices of gas. I don't know. But you guys need to work something out where you're actually helping, because they can't just like keep like saying, oh well, okay, I'll just pay all the money for my gas and I'm taking you everywhere. It's not right. Also, if they can't take you to work, or they can't take you to downtown Disney, or they can't take you to Walmart, do not hold it against them. They have to work, and like, especially if they have to work, do not hold it against them. If they already have plans, don't hold it against them. If you, like, just say, oh, okay, that's fine, or like try and work something out where they can take you longer. If you've had roommates before, this is pretty much like that. It's different because like you're living in an apartment rather than a dorm, and most people have just lived in dorms. If you've never had a roommate before, this will be an experience. I do think it's a good opportunity to live with a bunch of people. I know it can get stressful. I mean, if you have a one-bedroom, it's just 2 of you, and it's rare. But if you have like a 4-bedroom, it's 8 of you, and that much, especially for girls, that much like drama in one house is just, sometimes it's not there. But like, make it work for you guys. Do roommate building activities. Like, I know my friends, one program did, they would put like Post-its on the bulletin board for like every day. Like, every day someone would write a different memory, and then they'd go look at them at the end of the program, and that kept them really bonded really well. So I mean, just remember, it's hard for them too. They're away from home too. If you have like a situation where you get like really stressed out because you're away from home and you miss it, or you miss your family or something, because people get homesick, it's going to happen. Just remember that they're in the same shoes. Remember you can talk to them. Don't look at them as someone you can't ever talk to. I think that's all for now, but I will have more later, and I will post something new soon. Have a good day, guys.